What tourist attraction is actually not overrated and deserves all the hype around it? The Pantheon in Rome. This is the oldest building in the world that is still used for its intended purpose. It's simply incredible to realize that Marcus Aurelius himself walked through the same entrance that we walk through. For comparison, when they began building St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican, the Pantheon had already been standing for 1,500 years. Pompeii. I had very high expectations and this place definitely exceeded them. It's simply enormous. You can spend several days there. If you have even a slight interest in history, you'll definitely enjoy it. Some details are incredibly well preserved. For example, in one of the bathhouses, you can still see drawings that ancient people left on the walls. Everywhere there are stunning preserved mosaics, including the famous one with the dog that I particularly liked. There's even a wall where political graffiti has been preserved, and in one room under the main layer there are remains of Semitic culture from about 500 years BC. They lived here even before the Romans arrived, and these elements are also excellently preserved. When you're there, you really start to understand what it was like to live in an ancient city. This is probably the most impressive place I've ever seen. If you have little time, go to Herculaneum's. It's also cool. Everything is roughly the same there, but the territory is smaller and they're still excavating it. It seems only 70% of the territory has been uncovered. Mont Saint-Michel, France. This is simply a stunning place. I visited there in 1994 when I was 8. I thought that all medieval castles would be like this. After that, all the others were disappointing. Machu Picchu. Stunning views in every direction, wherever you look. We couldn't get onto the Inca Trail itself, but stayed in the nearest town, woke up very early, and caught the sunrise over Machu Picchu. I will never forget that day. The Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Udvar Hazy Center in Chantilly, Virginia, next to Dulles Airport. This place is simply amazing, even if you're not particularly interested in the subject. Be sure to wear comfortable shoes. It's a huge area. Parking costs $15, but admission is free. I was in this city on a business trip and had a free day. I thought I'd take a quick look around, then find something else to do. In the end, I spent 5 hours there and seriously considered coming back the next day. Funny story, I joined a tour with a guide. We walked past the F-14 and one of the participants said, "I hope you're going to tell us about the F-14." Guide. I usually skip it because people already know so much about it. Guest. Yes, I understand. It's just special. I flew this F-14. Guide. You flew the F-14? Guest. Specifically this one. My name is written on the fuselage. The guide started asking him questions about the history of that specific aircraft. And the guy knew everything down to the smallest details. Redwoods in California. The feeling like you've entered a prehistoric era. Several times it seemed like a dinosaur would emerge from behind a tree at any moment. Pure magic and awe. Most of my car's mileage, these are trips to the Redwoods and back. These trees are truly magical. It might sound strange, but after time spent among the redwoods, I began to perceive plant life as a complete form of life, just like animals. These trees talk. They hum, they vibrate. Simply a wonderful experience. Bruges, an incredible city. You can walk around it for hours and never see the same building twice. Each house has its own architecture, its own decorations and details. In most cities, everything blends together. And I really liked Edinburgh. It has its own character, interesting history, and at the same time, it doesn't feel like an overly touristy place. It's an excellent city for a peaceful vacation. The Metropolitan Museum and the Museum of Modern Art in New York. When you grew up in a small town and saw these art masterpieces only in school textbooks, and then you encounter them in person, it's just, wow. You walk through the hall and suddenly, bam, there it is, the real thing. And here's another one, and another. Everything that was previously only on book pages is now right in front of you, at arm's length. Just don't touch. I know, at first it might not sound very appealing, but in today's world, it's more important than ever. Auschwitz-Birkenau. We've all heard stories, read books, watched movies. However, the World War II generation has passed away, and their stories are now just memory, legends, history. You need to go there yourself, because this experience is difficult to convey. It devastates you emotionally, frightens, shocks. After all, this really happened. The horror and cold-bloodedness with which they carried out the plan to exterminate an entire people. Simply a forbidden topic. This must never happen again. After you visit this place, you become a different person. We are stronger when we are together. Pompeii, it's simply amazing. I spent a whole day there and still wanted to stay longer. Many years have passed since I was there, and archaeologists continue to conduct excavations. I imagine it has become even more interesting. Architectural boat tour on the Chicago River is simply a magnificent experience. It's very interesting, and such a tour gives an excellent overview of the city. It changed. It's better to take a tour organized by the Chicago Architecture Museum. Perfect day in Chicago for tourists. Go up to the observation deck in the Hancock Tower, see the city from above, come down and go on an architectural boat tour. Experience the city from within, end the day with a walk to Navy Pier. Enjoy the panorama. Bonus, if you get the chance, take a boat ride on Lake Michigan.